Well, welcome. Today we're going to have a conversation with Tyler Tenpas from Navitec. Uh, you, Tell us a little bit about your role at Navitec, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm one of the three founders of Navitec. We started the company in 2017. I run all of our sales side initiatives. My technical title is Vice President of Client Services, and we are a digital transformation consulting firm.
Wonderful. Thank you.
It sounds like Bozeman's been pretty good to you, too.
It has. We've hired 15 people in the last 12 months since moving to Bozeman, so it's been a great success.
Nice.
Super.
Yeah.
Super. So I met Kylie and Alex when they came to a presentation that I did at Montana State University. And they contacted me shortly afterwards saying, "Hey, Susan, will you come here? We were going to do something, but I told Tyler he should do this instead." What's your side of that story? How'd you end up with us?
Yeah, we were looking at different ways to collaborate and connect as a group. I mean, when you hire that many people in that short period of time, you want to try to make sure that you have a healthy culture. And the easiest way to do that is to get together and get to know each other with, different kinds of activities. So I was looking at a lot of things on the internet, personality tests, et cetera. But Kylie and Alex and a lot of my team are much better, at these things than I am. And, they knew, that I was looking at different options, and I asked them for ideas, and it was kind of just great timing, because at the time they had, met with you guys on campus and had suggested, hey, this really makes sense. They're like, this was a great experience. And suggested to me that we, engage with you guys to do that team building collaboration effort, which turned out to be an awesome experience, I think, for everybody. So
certainly for us,
yeah,
it was really fun. It was really nice to meet all of you.
Good.
So for you personally, you have natural number 6. Being a 6 means that you're powerful, that your voice carries. So you have a resonant quality to your presence. I'm a 6 also. And it also means you have a tremendously good sense of timing. You have an ability to take in information, synthesize it, and then know what direction to lead the organization. How have you seen this playing out since you've become aware of having natural number 6?
Well, I think it's therapeutic, first and foremost, to understand, why it is you do the things that you do, and certainly there are benefits, and positive things about being a 6, but there are also negative, or what can be perceived as negative things too, living in the moment,
least, right?
Reacting, quickly to unexpected things. We've talked before about, the jaguar pouncing, and there's a certain amount of I don't know if it's, guilt or whatever that is felt, when sometimes you don't handle situations to which you would think would be the best response. And I think, understanding why I do the things that I do based on my natural energy has helped me to work better with others in the office, and it's helped others, to better understand me, and part of the thing with the 6 is we warn you with our eyes, before before the whole jaguar pouncing thing happens. And so it's good because my team now knows, if he looks at you that way, maybe
back off a little bit.
Yeah. Don't go full court press. Although some of my 2s just like the attention anyway. So, but it's been incredibly therapeutic in the sense that understanding, and working with your strengths, but then not getting as frustrated sometimes with the weaknesses that come along with it, because you're able to understand, why you're doing those things, and hopefully, evolve into, a better human being because of it. So, hopefully, I think that, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
No right or wrong answers.
So would you say
Cool.
that It sounds like at least that having most of the organisation that was there at the time identified was a net positive, that you're finding that the people that work in the organisation actually enjoyed it as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it was an immediate impact. Like the day after, you guys came in, like there was just confidence, among people that didn't necessarily have it. People were starting to, just collaborate more, on who they are and be more open and comfortable with who they are with each other. And we noticed that right away. I mean, I could feel it, walking through the room in that environment in that moment. And then, my natural number sevens and nines also pointed it out to me in more of a specific type situation. Like, did you see this person interact with this person? In which case I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't necessarily, always see those little things that are happening, but I feel them, and I feel the environment, as it happens. And that was an immediate impact. Yeah.
What had been your goals for bringing us in? What had you hoped to see happen?
Well, I think, we achieved those, and what we'd hoped to see happen was more openness, more communication, people being more comfortable with each other. The weird thing about what we do is that we are with each other 8 to 9 hours a day, like in the same desk, in the same vicinity. We're, for those of you who don't know, we are a call center, meaning that we're, in an office calling in to clients to sell cloud transformation solutions. So we're always together. We work in a high pressure, high stress environment. It's a sales job. We place contractors for a living, who are people that make their own decisions, so it's not always consistent, and there's a lot of turmoil in our business. So it's really important that we, keep the turmoil to the business and not to each other, and so that, and that we foster an environment that we trust, respect, and understand each other, because we spend so much time together and we deal with such kind of critical ups and downs in our days. And so, the goal of bringing Body of Nine and Martin and Susan in, was to hopefully break some of those barriers that we have with each other down sooner than later. Like, can we get through this, introductory phase, this defense mechanism type phase, quicker, so that we can move on as a team faster, and then that was the goal ultimately, and that goal was and continues to be achieved.
Awesome.
That's great. That's great.
So when they suggested you that, let's bring Martin and Susan in Body of Nine, was there any resistance from the organisation? This is, it is an identification system, but it's a little bit less known than, say, Myers-Briggs or any of the others. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had a lot of people that have had experience with Myers-Briggs. I mean, that's, I guess, what I really like about my business partners and the team that we've built around us, is that we like to think that we're pretty open to new things, new possibilities. I mean, the old adage of "it's always been done that way" is a very dangerous mindset. And especially when you're working in an environment, socially, economically, digitally, whatever, that is moving at the speed of light. Like, things are changing quickly these days, and you've got to be able to be open. And so there really wasn't, I guess, is the short answer there.
What surprised you in the process of learning about this and integrating this understanding in your team?
How spot on it was, and how easy to understand it is. I mean, like, one, not knowing it's not easy to understand, but once you start, applying it, and once you start figuring out the natural numbers, it is pretty, like, simple. Like, this is legit. Like, it's really hard to argue against the 9 energies in the Body of Nine. Like, it just seems that it's so simple, stupid kind of thing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
It's so
you know,
frustrating. We've worked so hard to create a really, really simple system.
Well, that's a good sign, right?
It is a good
If
sign.
you make
Yeah.
it simple,
That's
we've
right.
done the work.
It
That's
is.
good.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, you know, that it's come from us talking to so many people. You know, our anecdotal research of going out and meeting thousands and thousands of people of all the natural numbers from 50 countries and 8 or 10 nationality. Races. I mean, we have such a diversity in our research base, and then we asked very specific and consistent questions about what's it like to live in your body when you have a particular natural number. And then we distill the descriptions down to be very specific. So the word, because words are slippery, right? It turns out most words have 9 definitions, depending on what your natural number is. So that, I think, is one of the things that makes it simple. It's like, okay, 6s are very consistently what they are. We have expanded and lifted rib cages. We have a jowly quality in the cheek between the nose and the mouth. Our eyes are either, you know, they can range, as we see, from deer in headlights to jaguar ready to pounce. But there's a very loving space in the middle where you know, where you're in the loving space now. It's beautiful. And I am too, and that's nice. And we can feed off that energy. Yeah, it's really nice. And 6 at some level is about love, even though it's also about movement. And but it's how do we create in connection, and how do we create with positive forward movement for the good of all. And that's just what 6 is about. It's so, as you say, it's simple.
And you know, because it's body based, there's no questionnaire to fill in. It's not like, okay, well, what did Tyler want me to answer this, or how should I answer this, or you know, what's the best way I'm going to get a raise if I answer this question? And that's another part of the simplicity, is that when you look at people's bodies, we help make sure that they can move the way that that natural number can, and bang, and then it's just, okay, this is what people like that person has told us. So it is remarkably simple.
Yeah, profoundly, yes. Profound and actionable. How have you seen? We taught everybody their posture. You know, so when you get triggered and things aren't working, here's your posture. If you're 6, you expand here. If you're a 1, you bring your chin up. You find somebody to make connection with. So have people used their posture? Have you noticed this at all, or sometimes it's just unconscious as well? I'm just curious if you've noticed it at all.
Yeah, you know, I do, and I constantly see the Body of 9 books being, you know, transitioned from one desk to another.
Good.
So I also know that, you know, that people are you know, buying into it as well, you know, and so yes, the short answer is yes, you know, and myself, you know, I've always been like, you know, take a deep breath, and you know, and it works, right? Like especially when, you know, you're triggered, like you said, and if you can just take that deep breath and expand that chest, and you know, you get to a certain level of consciousness again, you know. And so, you know, not only have I applied that, but I have seen, you know, others as well, and I've applied, you know, trying to connect with, you know, my employees, in you know, tough situations by, you know, like if I have a 1 that we're having an issue, or you know, a conflict, or that they're dealing with something in their life or whatever, you know, just lifting that chin up to show that you're connecting with their oneness, you know, and trying to apply you know, things like that. And my understanding of Body of 9 is very basic, and when I say simple, I mean it's simple to understand. It's simple for somebody to go, okay, I get this, right? Like this makes sense. This has backing. This is legit. Like that's what I mean, that it's simple. But I also think it's quite complex as well, because, you know, I do think it takes a lot of training, you know, to be able to assess and understand accurately, you know, who people are, you know, and what energies they are. And I think there's a lot, you know, there's the tip of the iceberg is just understanding that there are 9 energies, you know, and then going deeper than that is like, you know, now it becomes a very complex world, right? Because, you know, how do these people develop relationships with each other? You know, how do they react to, you know, situations with a 2 versus a 7 reacting with a 4, and you know, and then how do you go and how do you expand outside of your natural number to become a more evolved individual and to connect with other people? And you know, it's really not as simple as just saying, hey, I'm a number 6, great. It's like, well, what are you going to do with that? Right. Like
Yeah.
if you're number 6, yeah. So yeah, that's, but yeah, the short answer to the question is absolutely. People have been applying, these things to make their lives more happy, enjoyable, livable,
Yeah, and I know
productive, et cetera. So
one of the fun things that we enjoy, because we spent 2 days with you, 2 sessions, and we came in the first day and identified everyone's natural number, and then we had a lot of anticipation. We felt very excited about coming back the second day to reinforce it and then start talking about these combinations you just talked about, because there are 9 different kinds of people, and it's simple because there's only 9.
However, there are 9.
Yeah.
And 9 was how many combinations?
And there's
is it?
45 different combinations depending on the math, but unless you can count. Both ways. But and it also makes, I think, because one of the conversations we had with you and some of your team, certainly your direct admin, I think there was a better understanding between the two of you in terms of how she can support you, as well as energetically, not just by being doing the work, but there's an energetic support that you can do up and down when there's sort of through the levels of an organization, and it's not just that. There's not just the reporting supervisory relationship. There's an energetic relationship, and it teaches you how to help each other. So.
We're still human beings, like I'm not above anybody as a human being, like
that's right. We're all equal on that level, right?
Yeah, our relationships with others should always be equal. Like I get that in companies you have a structure and an organization, and I think that is helpful to run a company. There's very successful companies that don't have that. But, as people, we are peer to peer, and we always should be. It's one human being to another. And and absolutely, you're right to, like that connection and establishing and understanding the whys behind what somebody does, what they need to be successful, what motivates them, like all of those things are very important to understand to create like just a healthy, positive environment,
Do you think your team uses the Body of 9 work when they're talking to their clients on the phone?
I think they do. I don't think they're advanced enough at this point, right? Like I think they use what they have, but I think that I don't. There's a lot. There's a lot that they also have to do, and that they're learning to do, and especially being such a young group, right? Hiring or such a low tenured group, right? We've hired all 15 people in the last really 12 months. So we don't have anybody, outside of Kylie that's over 12 months with us at this point. So to answer your question, yes. Is there more to be discovered there? Absolutely. And I could see it definitely helping, helping advance those relationships quicker, with our clients. So, yeah.
So on a personal note, we met your wife at Burning Man in our very first year of taking this out into the world, which is such a cool story. How's it been in your relationship now that you're a 6 and she's a 9, and how has that impacted your ability to get along with each other?
Oh, it's been great. She, well, both of us, right? Like it helps me. I think it helps her understand me, and me understand her, right? Like, and she thinks differently, and sometimes you can get frustrated, especially as being a 6. You get frustrated with people that think differently or don't understand you or why you're doing what you're doing, or especially when you're triggered. There's a lot of situations that happen in a relationship. So I think Cheryl understanding more about why I react when I do react, what triggers me, why that happens. To me, it's a lot about the whys behind everything. Why do I do the things that I do, or why does this person do the things that they do? And with the Body of 9, you get some of that answer, right? And we've talked about nature versus nurture before, and I'm sure we'll discuss that, in more depth here. But yeah, it's undoubtedly positively affected our relationship because we understand each other better.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I like about this work too, is just remembering that that whatever they're doing doesn't mean what you think it does if it was you doing it.
Well, at work and at home.
At work and at home
Yeah.
with our children and
Yeah.
parenting, all these places and also for me, it's also helped me cultivate curiosity, wonder, and awe. And I use those regularly in relationship because it's like, oh, wow, what's that behavior about? Where's that really coming from?
Right.
Because, if it was me, it would mean this, but that is not what's going on here. And, just.
It's different language,
Different
like you're speaking the same words, but it's a different language, and just understanding that, makes you take a step back and go, wait, what are you feeling with this? What's going through, what are you trying to accomplish? Like what's going on there? And then, and just just that second of, awareness, that it's different, that helps a lot. It does a lot,
Yeah.
Well, I was on a call today with this woman, one that was a 9 and the other was a 6. And the 6 was all about, well, let's move this forward. Let's keep it going. Which is 6 is always about that forward movement. And the 9 was the question was, what is leadership? And the 9 was like, well, sometimes you have to stop the flow of things. And you have to know when to stop the flow of things. And it's one of those fundamental 6-9 conflicts, which we as 6s are like, no, don't stop it. I just got it going. And the 9 is like, yes, you got it going, but you forgot A, B, C, and D, Susan or Tyler. So it just, and that really just helps to know that because both are valid and equally important.
Yeah,
I think go ahead.
Well, one of the things you said that I found fascinating and enlightening and heartening is that you talked about doing natural number 1 when the situation approves. So one of the things that we like to talk about Body of 9 is there's actions. It's actionable. It's not just what all the 9 different types are. We teach you how to be able to work with all those 9s. But we were with you for basically 2 relatively short sessions. And yet you changed how
you just did one.
Yeah, and like, you literally just did.
Right.
So
that was cool.
Yes. So one of the things I want to point out to everybody is that in 2 very short sessions, 1, it's changed your organization, and 2, it's been embraced in a way that you get it, and you're demonstrating it and you're mirroring it physically. Yeah. And it's just it's awesome. So I want to honor your grasp of this because the ability to take it the way you have. And then know how to use the others in what for us was 2 short training sessions, obviously powerful. So thank you for grasping that because it shows the power of this work that in 2 short sessions you can be literally embodying another natural number, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I was looking for the body of 9 but didn't know it, kind of thing. Like looking for answers, looking for how to better, myself as an individual. And, there's many channels you can go down to try to, improve yourself and try to understand yourself better and your subconscious and how you're wired and why you're wired. And again, it just keeps, coming back to the whys, the why we do things the way we do. So yeah, it was that, it was something that I was searching for, but nothing made sense, right? Like all these other channels, whether it's, therapy or, self-help books or whatever you want to look at, like nothing, or Myers-Briggs tests or whatever, right? Like, but nothing really settled with me and made sense. So if I can't believe in it, then I can't move forward with it. I can't achieve it, kind of thing. I can't action it, right? And so the thing with the body of 9 is it just makes sense to me, and that's why I, grasp it. That's why I continue to study it. That's why I watch all of your YouTube videos on it,
and our views are up a lot. Good to know you're one of our viewers.
Yep. So yeah, it makes sense. And thank you guys for, spreading the love, so to speak. So.
Well, thank you. And thanks for taking the time today. It's been really nice to talk to you about this.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.